Have you ever trusted someone with everything, only to realize they were never on your side? Have you ever fallen for someone who looked like love, but behind their eyes was betrayal? What if the person who held your heart was the same one holding the knife? Delilah was not a warrior. She didn't carry a sword or ride into battle, but she brought down the strongest man who ever lived. With soft words and gentle touches, she broke what armies could not. Samson, a judge of Israel, anointed, chosen, feared, met his match not on the battlefield but in the arms of a woman whose love had a price tag. She didn't hate him, she didn't even know him, but for silver she sold him. Yes, the valley of Sorek, where desire clouded judgment, is where Delilah's story unfolds. She didn't need chains to bind him, just questions, just lies, and a man who thought his strength could never leave him. Have you ever trusted the wrong person, thinking they were your safe place, only to find out they were your trap? Delilah's story doesn't begin with love. It begins with strategy. The Philistines, Israel's enemies, were terrified of Samson. No man could defeat him. No army could contain him. He tore lions apart with his bare hands. He ripped city gates from their hinges. He slaughtered 1,000 men with the jawbone of a donkey. But there was one weakness they'd heard whispers about, his heart. And they knew if they couldn't overpower him by force, they could bring him down through seduction. So they chose Delilah. We don't know what drew Samson to her. Maybe it was her beauty. Maybe it was her voice. Maybe it was the illusion of peace in her arms. But what we do know is that he loved her. He came to her again and again. And while he lay in her lap whispering secrets, she was planning his downfall. The Philistine rulers came to her and said, "Lure him. Find out the secret of his strength, and we'll each give you 1,100 pieces of silver. That's the deal. That's the moment." And Delilah said yes. She didn't strike immediately. She smiled first. She waited. She asked him gently, "Tell me, what makes you so strong?" And Samson lied. "If you tie me with 7 fresh bowstrings, I'll become weak." That night while he slept, she did just that. She tied him up. And then she shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you!" But he snapped the bowstrings like threads near fire, and Delilah laughed it off. But she wasn't done. The next day she asked again, "Why did you lie to me? Don't you love me?" And again Samson played with fire. "If you bind me with new ropes, I'll become weak." Again she tested it. Again he broke free. Again she accused him of mocking her, but Delilah was patient, calculated. She cried, she pouted, she manipulated. How can you say, "I love you," when your heart is not with me? Have you ever had someone weaponize love to get what they want? Day after day she nagged, pressed him, until finally he broke. He told her everything. "I have been a Nazirite since birth. My hair has never been cut. If it's shaved, I'll become as weak as any other man." And in that moment, Delilah saw what she wanted: vulnerability, truth, power. She knew he wasn't lying this time. She sent word to the Philistine rulers, "Come one more time. He has told me everything." That night, she lulled him to sleep in her lap, and as his breath slowed, as his guard dropped, a man crept in and shaved the locks from his head, and Delilah watched. Then she shouted the same words again, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." But this time, something was different. He rose as before, but the strength was gone. God had departed from him, and for the first time in his life, Samson was weak, blind, defeated. They seized him, gouged out his eyes, dragged him away in chains. And Delilah, she disappears from the pages of Scripture. Her name vanishes, no remorse, no apology. She is a shadow, a woman remembered only for the moment she traded love for silver. But her story raises a deeper question. Why did Samson stay? Why didn't he run the first time she betrayed him? Was it pride? Was it the illusion that he was invincible? Or was it that he confused passion for love, desire for destiny? Have you ever stayed somewhere too long, thinking you could handle it, when it was already killing you? Delilah's story isn't just about betrayal. It's about what happens when you underestimate what your enemy is willing to do to destroy you. It's about the danger of compromise, the price of misplaced trust, and how the smallest deception can lead to the greatest downfall. But even in the ashes of that betrayal, God wasn't finished with Samson. His hair began to grow, his strength began to return, and in his final act, blind and broken, he pushed down the pillars of the temple and brought judgment to the Philistines. But Delilah's name remained, etched in history as the woman who brought down the strongest man alive, not with weapons, but with whispers. Have you ever let someone in so close that they had the power to break you? What if Delilah's story is a warning, not just about love, but about discernment, about knowing the difference between someone who holds your hand and someone who holds your downfall? Samson fell not because he was weak, but because he stopped guarding what God gave him. He played with fire, assuming he would never be burned. But Delilah was proof that not everyone in your arms is for your destiny. Sometimes the ones closest to you are the ones commissioned to take you out. And yet, even in betrayal, God had the final word. Because Samson's hair began to grow. And in the end, even his fall became a setup for redemption. Tell me, what part of Delilah's story pierced your heart? Have you ever been so charmed by someone's words that you missed their intentions? If this story opened your eyes, then don't miss our next video, Herod, the king who feared a baby and killed for his throne. Watch it next.